Go.
Hello, my name is Dust. Welcome to our channels because we're a multifaceted channeling YouTube phenomenon, me and Khalid, and we give our energy and time to try and help educate and expand our universes from our very different points of view, but having this um, clash of
Titans.
titans is if managed and well thought through, is a positive and great energy for the world. I believe you represent a good energy in that sense, and so we can have discussions on how we perceive the world, and therefore you can out there in the world muse upon which is you feel good for you, or you in fact have a blend of these ideas that you are going to get presented to. So my name is Dust. This is the incredible Khalid with his holiday tropical shirts of glorious wonder and very perfect for the weather. Would you like to say anything at the introduction before
I'm a Muslim.
Yeah.
Got a lot of good stuff to tell you about in this video.
And would you like to say the title of this?
Are we a soul with a body, i.e. a soul dragging along a body, or is the body the primary thing that somehow just happens to have a soul in it? Which way around is it?
Or just a body?
Okay.
So
Oh yeah, I should press the button.
now,
Yes.
there you. I'll go first then.
Yeah.
So we started this conversation just a moment ago, and then made the conscious decision to in fact record this so that we can be more.
Give this amazing stuff out to the universe.
Yeah, we think it's a good form of communication. I'm actually eating into my own time, which is a bit bonkers. So I come from an evolutionary point of view. That we are what only reason we are what we are due to evolution and the process of evolution, which happens over billions of years. And this means the reason why we have a hand is not because it was designed by any external factors. Though I'm not denying the fact that maybe the very start of creation there could be God at that process. I'm not denying that could be a real or not real entity, but I am saying um, a god had no presence whatsoever in the hand. And the hand evolved because it forms an incredible multifaceted function which has enabled this brand, this biological mass and DNA, which represents the human form, to form tasks which are so precise and wonderful that it can adapt to almost any environment, thus being successful in that environment. Ergo, the hand carries on as an evolutionary advantage. But also, thoughts, biological thoughts, hardwired biological thoughts, are also evolved. So, like being gay is an evolutionary process which is only there because it's an essential part of existence for a particular biological identity. Again, we've ended up with it, but in throughout the whole animal kingdoms and different animal kingdom, different animal evolutionary branches have clearly it's not called game culture now. It's just being alive and organic and functioning and surviving and reproducing. That sounds ironic, but reproducing.
Are we talking about the soul and the body thing?
Yeah, I'm just getting to that. It's my time, cheeky.
Right. You don't want to use it all the time before we get to the main point, but
Cheeky. So the evolution. So this is describing the body. The body is an evolution process, and as I was saying, it's massively important. A good example, or being obviously being straight as being the very clear, obvious byproduct of evolution, because obviously that's a clear one which you don't even need to think about to understand. But we're trying to extend our mental understanding of the world around us by by this conversation, and also making sure we don't fall into the tropes of just making easily thinking that subjects like what is spirit, what is body are just very simple things that can be resolved with a simple sentence. But in actual fact, a multifaceted area of intellect that we must muse upon and think about and research on. I've got 1 minute 24 seconds left.
Yeah, so I believe in evolution as well, just like dust, you know, there's a God and he's got a creative process, and God doesn't want us to get in the way of us making our own free choices. So he doesn't physically, you know, poke things around with a hand. That would be a very limited way of making things. Hands can't deal with atoms and all sorts of other amazing things in nature. So yeah, evolution exists. Evolution doesn't have to be random. That's the mistake a lot of people make. It doesn't have to be a godless evolution. It's just another process. You know, nature's a process of different kinds, different
Sorry,
parts.
did you say evolution doesn't have to be?
Does not have to be
Thank you.
random. Yeah. So, anyways, that's neither sort of. I get where he's coming from. He's like, to avoid the idea of a soul, you kind of have to avoid the idea of a God, and you have to have some excuse for believing that, despite all our common sense about anything that's made, that's intricate, like a phone or whatever, we know it had a maker. You didn't have to realize, you don't have to see the maker itself necessarily, although there's tons of evidence all over the place. But anyway, so are we a soul first is the real question, and you can tell we're a soul first in many ways by looking at our design. What is the thing that's most important to us? If the, like love, for example, love, kindness, meaning, these are the things that psychologists and human beings generally know are the most important things to us. These are the unphysical, the intangibles. So the things that are most important are intangible. The things that are not particularly important are, you know, like, in fact, if you have too much of it, are things like food. So food, you just need a bit of it to keep going. In fact, if you have too much food, you start being sick and depressed. So you can see the hierarchy. So Viktor Frankl says meaning is essential to happiness. Meaning means doing good things essentially for other people. And lots of other psychological studies have kind of shown that generosity makes you happy. Essentially, again, doing things for other people. So yeah, you can practically analyze these things. These are not mystical things, really, if you think about them for a while. And you can go through. There's a lot more explanation I could give, like the transition in our existence from sperm to baby in the womb to life outside the womb. We transition from one form to another, and our consciousness seems to remain with us and increase in levels. So it only makes sense that even after this temporary human life, there should be another transition when one form dies, another grows and develops to a much higher realm of existence, realm or awareness. Yes. Oh, I'll press the button.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at equal times now. Look at that. Exactly.
Beautiful.
In seconds.
Yeah, we're not dictated by time.
Oh.
It's just a sign of that we are aware of the time we take and the respect that we give each other. And because it's very easy to lose track when you speak, especially when we're so passionate about the subjects we talk about. So before the camera rolled, you were saying about the shell is. Well, do you want to? Yeah.
Yeah, the body is a shell. I like describing it as a shell because it should be relatively unimportant. Like, you can be incredibly fit and depressed, like you can see in great Olympians in football and sports people.
Yeah. Yeah. So the human shell. I think that we should have a diet. We should have a little interaction on this one. So I'm not sure time will be so relevant at this
Now
stage.
that you've got 30 seconds. All right. That's what happens when you're playing speed chess. Like, the time's not important. My time's run out. It's not important anymore.
Oh, he's talking about time. There will be punishment.
There was
Severe punishment.
Severe punishment, yeah.
Bring in the punishment. It's a dinosaur with a chainsaw. That's the punishment. You never want to mess with a dinosaur with a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
Anyway, so this is a very interesting thing because the human, you regard the human as just a shell. I think that's what you just said. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that the human is a myriad of what I've described before, which is why I'm important to talk about, and also this material confine, which is, as you rightly described, is something that will end and turn to dust. And I think this is, for me, that turning to dust is just a natural cycle of not only Earth, on Earth, but the universe. That's how stars are formed. They always begin with dust, concentration, intense gravity, builds up gases, materials, boom, you got a sun. That was a very quick example of how a sun things. But yeah, I believe the human represents ideas, concepts, and biological hardware, wireware, and what we choose to do as people, and those choices to try and not override our things, but to make sure that we don't indulge in being a psychopath, and actually fact have confines and make internal choices of what is right and decent in the community around us.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work out what else to add. I kind of demonstrated that it makes sense that the key things that make us happy. So why do I talk about happiness as kind of helping us to understand the nature of ourselves? Is that we've got these natural biofeedbacks. You know, if you do something that's harmful for you, you get sad, you get depressed, you get hurt, all this kind of stuff. If you do something that's good for you, you feel happy, and you'll be surprised how many mechanisms there are to tell you what's good for you in your body. There's the dopamine system, which this will really help you, I think, understand. It rewards you not for even getting something, but working towards something meaningful. I mean, isn't that amazing? Your body wants you to do something great and thoughtful and meaningful, and it's not just evolutionary. So, like, there's an experiment where it says if you buy coffee for somebody else rather than just for yourself, you'll feel much happier. You just go on TED Talks. There's a great TED Talk about how to buy happiness. It's a really funny one as well. I recommend that.
You have an extra 1 minute if you want.
So I got 12 seconds, you got 59 seconds.
No, it's now.
Oh, you're minus 1 minute.
So I'm minus 1 minute. It now goes up. So it now indicates the extra time you should have if you require it.
Oh,
And then we wrap up.
I'm not expert at chess clock, so yeah. I never knew it goes to.
We should have learned. I should have taught you how to play chess actually. But we're just like going off subject. Let's just conclude. God, I'm lost subject. Oh, you said something really interesting.
I don't know. We said it. I don't know. You could keep saying stuff, but go on.
I think that is that's an evolutionary essential, which is that sharing thing. So that also confirms, though please interact if you disagree, that being good is an evolutionary byproduct of being human. That's a primary evolutionary asset that we've acquired over the years, and there's many different assets. Thus, that counts as being a psychopath. A psychopath wouldn't do that or have that dopamine hit if they were a psychopath. I think I'm going to conclude on that because I could talk about it, but I think we've covered quite a lot, and hopefully you'll discuss and have other ideas. And so I'll leave the last. You've got as much time as you want up to that limit, or extend.
Yeah, I mean, the evolutionary idea doesn't explain everything. Like, you might think evolution, as you might generally inherit, is survival of the fittest. But then wouldn't it require you just being selfish and getting things for yourself? So it becomes really complicated when you start saying it's survival of the group, so you survive and all this kind of stuff. It's very confusing. I wouldn't say evolution is a foolproof way of explaining what's going on in our lives. But we do know, if we want to keep it simple, we do know being a good human being is better for you. But then what is good gets really complicated when you don't have a God to tell you, because
Maybe that should be our next
yeah,
conversation.
that could be
What is
another.
good?
Yeah. Because right now we're so confused. We don't even know what a man or a woman is, and all this kind of stuff. And I was thinking that would be a good conversation.
That
You know,
could be-
is a trans movement sensible thing? Shall
So
we?
you can wrap up on
I'm
this.
wrapped up. There
Say
you go.
goodbye.
Goodbye. I'm just following instructions here.
You can just
Check out bigquestionsanswered.com and you'll
check it out. And I hope you'll engage in more of these conversations, I'd imagine. And I hope you found this not as a complete analysis of all that can be covered on this, but just as a taster of what different ideas can be and how to interact with another human being. Quite clearly, and I think we've actually also, I feel we've actually come to some conclusions here as well, which we agree upon, which is beautiful and wonderful.
What did we agree on actually?
The dust is now settled. Well, you can, if you watch the video,
Oh,
you
I'm
will
gonna
find
watch.
out.
I'm gonna watch the video. I'm gonna watch the video, see what we agreed on.
the dust is now settled. Thank you very much. That's video number 1.